Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Okay. Rumor mill. Let's do this. Rumor mill, we have a few Blade rumors. It's kind of 2 rumors, but we're going to break it into 4 because the first one's kind of big and the second one has 2 different elements, very easily 2 different elements. So the first rumor is that supposedly there's going to be multiple timelines that they're telling this story in. So those multiple Blade timelines is going to be the 20s, the 30s, and then modern era. So that's effectively our first rumor, and then our second rumor is tied to this. It's the continuation. The modern timeline is going to include Kit Harington's Dane Whitman, also known as Black Knight. We did see at the end of Eternals when Kit found the Ebony Blade, or I guess Dane found the Ebony Blade, and we heard Mahershala Ali's voice say, "Are you ready for that?" So there's a lot of indications that this is legit. So let's go back to the first part. Multiple timelines. Yeah, I don't have any real reason to say one way or the other, though the source is really good. So we're going to give it a slightly more than halfway. We're going to say about 55% likelihood that that is the case. Even though these 2 rumors are technically the same rumor, I feel like there's a little bit more validity to one half than the other half. So 55 for the first half, 70% likelihood that we will be seeing Kit Harington in this movie. And that's honestly being like very doubting. If I'm being even more honest and it's slightly less objective, then I would say it would be more of a 90%, but it is still very much rumor. It is only one source saying it. It is a fantastic source. It's just the one source that is saying this stuff. So we can't go as high as I want to just because of, likelihoods and so on and so forth. So, 70% likelihood we will see Kit Harington's Black Knight in this movie. And then the other 2 rumors for Blade are the first being that we're going to see Dracula in this movie. Whether or not he's going to be the main antagonist, I don't believe that's the situation, but that is the rumor. And then the second half of that rumor is Giancarlo Esposito is rumored to be playing Dracula, which would be really cool, but very much rumor. So as far as the first half of this, 50-50 because no real reason to go one way or the other yet. There's not a whole lot of corroborating evidence. And then because the Giancarlo thing is dependent on the first one, we can only go as high as 50%. And because that would be really awesome, we're just going to go up to 50% just because I want to, because that's the way it goes. So our next rumor is Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe 3 or the holiday special. That's up to you to decide, apparently. But the rumor is as follows. They are filming something for Guardians of the Galaxy right now, be that Volume 3 or the holiday special is uncertain. But apparently on set has been seen Kevin Bacon. So there is a rumor that we are going to get a Kevin Bacon cameo in the next Guardians of the Galaxy at some point. Again, it does not specifically say if it's the holiday special or the movie, or the Volume 3 rather, because it's unclear which is being filmed at the moment. Though the code name for the shooting project has something to do with Christmas, so I would say probably the holiday special, but again, not in the actual rumor. So there are other examples of Marvel doing this in the Guardians, and James Gunn specifically, in the Guardians movies. So this is not exactly new territory, but it's not a great source. It's kind of a garbage source, honestly. I would not be surprised if this happened, but we don't have enough evidence one way or the other. So we're going to put it at 50% because that's where we go when there's no reason to go in one direction or the other. Our next rumor has to do with the legendary Monsterverse. Son of Kong is apparently going to be the next movie in the Monsterverse, according to this rumor. There's a lot of reason to not think this is the case. So my first reason for going low, and we haven't got there yet, but first reason for going low on this is because the way these movies are built, they would have to introduce a mate for Kong. And they haven't done that yet. And if they're going to do that in the same movie that then we get the son of Kong, I feel like that's a poor choice. And I'm just going to hope that they're going to try and avoid obvious poor choices. So there's that. There's also the larger Monsterverse at hand. So we've got the Godzilla. We haven't really had much experience with any of the other kaiju that are still alive. We've seen that there are, I think the last count was something like 12 different kaiju around the world in this universe. And we've really only explored Godzilla and King Kong. So I feel like the more logical next step in the Monsterverse is to have a movie where we have some other kaiju elements and then maybe introduce the idea of Son of Kong, and then the next movie past this would be Son of Kong. That would make a lot more sense. But just all indications, and then the source for this is just really not great. So we're going 30% likelihood that Son of Kong is the next Monsterverse movie that is coming out the gate from Legendary. Our next rumor has to do with the DC movie timeline and the release dates. We did just get that big shakeup a couple of weeks ago. It might have even been a month ago at this point. Where everything kind of got shuffled around, and that put the Flash at the back end of the release dates instead of at the front end. And so the rumor is that that is largely due to Ezra Miller. As we have seen recently, Ezra was arrested in Hawaii for reasons. He's been arrested previously during the production of this movie. The rumor is he's just not well, which obviously that is the case. And because of his mental strain, or whatever excuse you're going to give to this Hollywood celebrity, because of whatever is going on behind the scenes, that is the largest factor of why these movies got rearranged. What we've been told explicitly is that it just wasn't going to be done. They have a lot more post-production to do, and it wasn't going to be able to meet its original release date. But that being said, that doesn't mean you have to move it as far back as they did. I don't know exactly how his personal life is affecting the release of these movies, so that's kind of something that's really difficult to understand, and also kind of factors against this. But we did get the move, we did get the cycle, and also as it relates to this, apparently that means that we have to cut Michael Keaton out of a couple of scenes in other movies, because he was supposed to be introduced in The Flash and then also be in these other DC movies. But if he's not introduced in The Flash, and then all of a sudden he's just in these other movies, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So they had to do a lot of re-editing for everything. And so, yeah, that is apparently the behind the scenes. So what is the likelihood that this is the case? Again, middle of the road. This is a really good source, but I really don't understand why his personal life is affecting the release of this movie, because his personal life isn't affecting the release of the new Fantastic Beasts movie, and that's in just the same kind of predicament. So it just, there's certain things that don't really equate. This is the only reason we're going as high as we are on this one, is because the source is so good. So 50% likelihood that this is the case. And the unfortunate thing about this too is there's never going to be a way to confirm this. There's never going to be, which is another reason why I didn't go any higher than 50, because we'll never know. We'll never 100% know that it was because of Ezra Miller. So that's just how we're going to have to leave it. And that just sits really bad in my mouth. And then we have a Blue Beetle rumor that sounds super freaking likely. So again, if you remember, Sharon Stone has been cast to play a new character to the universe, and that is Victoria Cord, who is the wife of, apparently, Ted Kord. And Ted Kord is the original Blue Beetle in the mythology. So the rumor has it that we will be seeing Ted Kord as the actual villain in the movie. and Sharon Stone will just be kind of a front for him. So this seems pretty cool. I don't know that he's going to be the villain. I do believe, though, that we will see him in this movie. So going there, we're going to put that at 70%. Him being the villain, 50-50. It could go either way. But very probably, this is my projection, very probably what's going to happen is we're going to see Victoria as the villain because she's going to be trying to exact some sort of revenge on the new Blue Beetle because her husband died or something. And we're going to see the original Ted Kord in flashback sequences because of, again, the revenge that his wife is trying to exact. So yeah, I think we're going to see Ted Kord. I don't think he's going to be the villain, but I think we're going to see Ted Kord. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy,